Well, I guess there's no time like the present. Well, actually, there's plenty of time to check and make sure that I'm actually plugged in the way I want to be plugged in. Yes, I am. I've got the proper mic. Why do I always wait until I go live to check and see if I have the right microphone plugged in? But I do have the right microphone plugged in, so we are ready to go here with this week's live Panther-Lair Show on a Wednesday night, just a few days away from the Backyard Brawl. Obviously, that's going to be a lot of our conversation tonight once Jim joins us. We'll talk a little bit about the Central Michigan game, another win for Pitt. The Panthers beat the Chippewa 45-17 at Acrisure Stadium on Saturday, and now they'll head to Morgantown to take on West Virginia in the last of this four-game series in the Backyard Brawl. Pitt's up 2-1 in this four-game series. There's an opportunity there to, win the series and kind of carry that momentum, having won 3 out of the last 4 and 2 in a row into the next iteration of the series, which starts in 2029. Weird little 3-year layoff there between this series and that series, but who knows? Maybe some other games will get scheduled in there. So some news this week about. What am I looking at here? And I'm just sort of reading through the comments, seeing what people are saying. A little bit of news on the scheduling front. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the Backyard Brawl. We'll talk about Central Michigan. We'll talk about the state of the Pitt football team right now and what we think of how the Panthers look and what they should be expected to do on Saturday in Morgantown. You know what we always ask you to do? Make sure you like this video and subscribe to youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. That way you get all of our Pitt video content, whether it's our daily morning Pitt videos every day of the week, Monday through Friday, our weekly live show that we're here tonight, every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. We have post-game shows. We'll be live pretty much as soon as the game ends on Saturday, maybe a few minutes after it ends. But these road games are always fun because Jim goes and covers them on the road. I stay here in Pittsburgh at our Panther-Lair offices. And pretty much as soon as the game ends, we go live and sort of real off-the-cuff, real immediate reaction type of stuff. We start drinking. You guys might drink during the game. I try not to drink during the game, but then pretty much as soon as the post-game show starts, we crack them open. We have our shot of the game, and it's a good time. So make sure you tune in for that. Never really sure exactly what time the post-game show will start, so the best way to make sure you don't miss it, subscribe to youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. There's probably a subscribe button somewhere on this screen that you're looking at, and then you can turn on notifications so you get an alert sent to your your device, as it were, every time we go live, and then you won't miss it. It'll be like, hey, Panther-Lair is live, and then you know that you want to tune in and get to the live show. Like I say, we'll be pretty much right after the game ends, so mark that on your calendars. A couple more days of Morning Pit episodes, though, between now and then. Of course, Friday will be our Morning Pit mailbag. If you want to submit a question, go to the message boards at Panther-Lair.com. You can look for the mailbag thread. Post your question in there, and we will do our best to answer as many as we can in the Friday episode of the Morning Pit. Oh, one other thing, of course, to look forward to here on youtube.com/Panther-Lair.com. Tomorrow we'll have the Pat Narduzzi Thursday sit down, where Narduzzi sits down with the media in the conference room and, kind of talks for 10 or 15 minutes. And we get into some interesting, unique topics, kind of go a little off script, not just your regular basic basic kind of stuff that you get on the Monday press conference. It's a little looser, a little more candid. And I think it always, it's usually pretty interesting. So we'll have that video, and then we'll have the transcript at Panther-Lair.com. So make sure you keep an eye out for that tomorrow afternoon. All right, let's bring Jim into the show. If I can find the buttons, there it is. Make sure the volume's up. Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm good, Chris. How's it going?
Good. So you weren't at the game on Saturday. You had a prior arrangement or engagement, as it were. What were you doing, and were you keeping an eye on the game while you were doing whatever else you were doing, or did you try and go dark and check in on it later?
No, so I went to a wedding. It was a friend's wedding down in Maryland. So it was Saturday afternoon or evening, I guess the wedding was. So I listened to the first half on the radio, which is something I normally don't get to do. I don't get the Bill Hillgrove, Pat Bostic, Doran Dickerson experience. So that was kind of cool to listen to the game that way. And I felt like I knew what was going on. Then once I got there, it was kind of hard to, you're saying hi to people and you haven't seen people in a while. And so you're kind of checking the score. But we did a lot of the rewatching on Sunday and Monday and trying to get caught up that way.
Did you force yourself to keep your phone in your pocket, not get it out, not scroll Twitter and things like that during the game?
The game was over by the time the wedding actually started.
Oh,
so
okay.
So I kind of got like the whole Pitt fix. So I think at dinner, my one friend sitting next to me, he was a Florida fan, so we watched that on my phone together.
Yeah.
That was a nice moment, you know. So yeah, we were still keeping tabs on football that day, but I tried to be present as best I possibly can. Sometimes that's hard to do in this job.
I've just caught like passing references to it, and I haven't really dug that far into it because I'm not all that interested. But have you seen this kerfluffle about the AP voter who I think she moved Florida up 2 spots after that game and did not rank USF?
No, I
Have you
didn't.
seen any of this?
I did not.
I think she posted a video defending her vote. But like I say, I was like, do I really care enough to look into this? And I didn't. But people were like, oh, that didn't really explain anything or whatever. I mean, yeah, like the AP vote is for entertainment purposes only, right? Like, do we take it? I don't know. Like, what's your? I mean, do you take it very seriously anymore?
Not so much. I guess I reference it most like in like historical terms, like, oh, this is, Pitt's been ranked in the AP poll. Like it's like it's a useful tool to go back on, and it's still, I guess, something. I guess until the college football rankings come out later in the year in November, it's like kind of the number we all go with. So I guess it still means something, but like like when November rolls around, anything the AP voters have to say doesn't really matter.
And I mean, like, there's just no like consequence to it.
No.
Now, right? I mean, like, unless you want to say there's sort of a subliminal influence on the college football playoff selection committee that they've seen this team be ranked at this spot all season long. I mean, like, I typically don't think you get to the first few like CFP rankings and they're like crazy departures from what the AP has been voting for the previous like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I think once the BCS, because I'm trying to remember, the BCS like ranked throughout the season, right? Was there a BCS ranking throughout the season? I should remember this, but it was a long time ago.
I don't remember if it was all season or if it was also like just kind of like they started towards the end of the year.
Right.
I can't remember.
But once the BCS rankings started determining who played in the national championship game, I mean, the AP poll was pretty much of no consequence anymore. Like they would still. I think they even like officially or formally stopped naming a national champion once the BCS came out, or after a few years of the BCS. And then once you get the college football playoff, there's just no consequence. So it just becomes like solely for entertainment purposes. And so I just I don't care. Like if Pitt gets ranked, we'll write an article about it. If Pitt moves, once they get ranked, they'll move up and down. We'll write articles about that each week, but there's just, there's no consequences for it. There's nothing at stake. It's just it's a whatever, and I think you can find like sort of mathematical, analytically, data driven rankings. There's one that I retweeted today that was like, it's the most deserving ranking or something. Did you see this? I forget who it is. I can probably find it on my, where is it? Find it on my Twitter. It's like, Kelly Ford. Do you know Kelly Ford? Kelly Ford ratings.
Not familiar.
College football and college basketball power ratings, resume rankings, and whoever Kelly Ford is does like the most deserving rankings. And I forget exactly what it's results-oriented, resume-based measure of how a team has performed against its schedule, including scoring margin, relative to how the number 12 power-rated team would be expected to perform against that same schedule, not a power ranking or something. And so Pitt is number 50. 4 of Pitt's opponents this season are in the top 15, with Florida State at number 1, Miami number 4, Georgia Tech at 11, and NC State at 15. And again, it's not a power ranking, but anyway, there are other things to look at that maybe could be considered more indicative of how good teams are, the strength of how teams have played, the strength of their schedule or whatever it is. Whereas the AP poll is just, I don't want to say it's a joke, but like, because it's an institution, but there's no weight to it. You know what I mean? It doesn't carry. So if you get this like sort of silliness, I mean, I don't want to make it into Super Bowl media day where it's all just a big joke and everybody just like screws off all the time. I think voters should try to vote for something, but like, just doesn't matter, like there's nothing to it. So if like something like this happens, I just kind of laugh it off,
Yeah, and I think I go back to, because I think our good friend Jerry used to be an AP voter, and he took it seriously, and like, but at the end of the day, it's just 50 Jerry's coming up and, they're just mashing together 25 teams. Like, that's all it is. So it's like, yeah, like I'm sure the Florida writer, like somebody's ranking Pitt right now, like 23, and it's like some guy from like Louisiana, I think. Like it's, I don't know, like I think some people take it seriously. I think some people just do it just to do it. You're right. It just doesn't carry the same weight as it used to. And I don't know. I'm trying to think back at like those early or maybe like mid BCS years. I do remember there was a discrepancy. Like I thought like USC was named the AP national champions and they win against whatever the BCS determined. Do you kind of remember that?
Yeah.
It was like 2003, like maybe the
LSU. 2003 or 2004, like LSU and because was it 2003? Was that the year? Was it the same year when like Oklahoma lost to Kansas State?
It might have been
Big 12 championship or something like that.
Then like a couple years later, it was like Auburn. Like Auburn went undefeated and may have been named AP champions.
Yeah, and so they all like gave themselves trophies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Jerry was the voter. Who's the voter now? Who's the local voter now? Because
I don't think there is one.
Okay, so College Poll Tracker has Johnny McGonigal, but lists him from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, but he's not with the Post-Gazette anymore. He hasn't been with the Post-Gazette for a couple of years. So I don't know.
I think it like Steven's not doing it because I asked if he was voting on anything. I think they kind of move it around, like the AP votes, like they'll go to different publications and things like that. So I don't know if there's actually a home voter for Pitt right now.
It doesn't look like, if there's anybody I'm not thinking of, I don't see it. I mean, it might just be, maybe they still think Johnny McGonigal is in Pittsburgh, and so his vote counts. Let me see what McGonigal voted. Anything interesting or out of the ordinary? No, not really. Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Oregon, Georgia. This is this year, right? Yeah, 2025. Yeah. Miami, number 7, Notre Dame, 9, Florida State, 12. I don't know if he's particularly higher or lower than anybody. Still got Alabama at like 15, which seems like it's higher than most people have Alabama. South Florida, you put him in at 18. I think that's where they ended up.
I think that's where they are right now.
So he's got Louisville at 24, I think, unless that's Miami of Ohio, but I'm guessing that's Louisville. I don't know. Seems about right. Oh, Clemson at 14. That was the other ACC team he's got in there. But anyway, doesn't matter. Oh, geez. John, oh no, I thought John Wilner from San Jose Mercury News did not have Penn State ranked. He's got him at number 7, which has to be the lowest anyone has Penn State. Somebody's got them 5th. Yeah, I actually kind of like looking at this, and there was a site that would like trash people that were like way off on like way above or way below like what ended up like what the majority was. And so they would be like, what is this person doing? And they give them like scores. They might still do that, actually. That was pretty funny.
I think so.
Yeah, I think they used to trash Gorman because I think Gorman had the AP vote for a while. They used to trash him. Anyway, so you caught up on the Central Michigan game after the game. And you put up a post on the message board. It was good. It was in detail. Give us a few of the bullet points. What stood out to you in that 45-17 win?
I think you could argue, walking out of the game that was Eli Holstein's best game in a Pitt uniform. Just, I thought he just looked confident, like running the offense how it was supposed to, stepping around in the pocket. And his numbers were really good. There was the one interception, but other than that, he was like kind of in complete control. So I don't know. That was one of my biggest takeaways, was just seeing him play, and just seeing him play with confidence was definitely noteworthy to me. But I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing with the defense. Like, they're just not giving up much right now. I mean, like those rushing numbers are really good. They have a lot of tackles for loss, a lot of sacks. Like, they're doing the things. They're hitting all the notes that a Pat Narduzzi defense should hit right now. They're getting off the field on third downs. I know they gave up a couple fourth downs, but I think some of them were a little fluky anyway. So I don't know. I mean, I think right now, nothing's like totally surprised me about this Pitt team. Like nothing I have seen is like anything that is like totally out of the realm of possibilities. I think a lot of our camp expectations have been met, and I think a lot of it will be put to the test on Saturday. I mean, I don't know if West Virginia is the greatest power conference team, but it's still better than Central Michigan and Duquesne, and it's going to provide a challenge, especially just playing down there.
Yeah, for sure. I really thought one of the biggest things that stood out to me was when they got into that spot where it was 24-17 in the third quarter, where they had gone, they were rolling, they were doing well. And then Eli Holstein throws the interception and, Central Michigan scores and, they score again in the second half. And now it's 24-17. I've talked about this a ton of times, the live show. And then again, on the Morning Pit, I wrote an article about it. And then to go from a point where everybody was starting to clench up a little bit, of like, oh God, what is happening here? This can't be, this is not going to really be a nail biter, is it? And then you get the big Kenny Johnson kickoff return, a Desmond Reed run for 0, and then the big pass to Raphael Williams. And it was just like, I feel like the whole stadium breathed a huge sigh of relief when that happened, of just like, okay, it's not going to happen, because then they ran away with it. It was never close again. And like you said, that touchdown drive that they had, they converted 2 4th downs. The second one they converted, it was just a ridiculously good catch. It was just an absurdly good catch that, like, it wasn't bad coverage. It wasn't bad defense. And the same way, they had a really good catch on their field goal drive too, of just like, damn, that dude just made a play. Like, for a run heavy team, they had 2 ridiculously good catches that, the guy just made a play. But then once they got that touchdown to Raphael Williams, it was over. There was nothing, it was no longer in question. I'm with you. Like, the defense is just, it's shot at 77 yards in 2 games, rushing yards, 77 rushing yards in 2 games, 9 sacks in 2 games. I feel like, do you feel like the defensive line is playing better? Does it look better than it did last year, considering the opponents they've faced?
I think so. It just seems like a lot of plays are you're seeing the other team's tackles just backwards, like they're turned around. So I think they're just getting a lot of pressure, and they're just kind of letting the linebackers make the plays. You saw like Rasheed Biles get 11 tackles. Like, I think when this Pitt defense is at its best, it's whenever that line is getting penetration, and it's just like, just directing everything right into their 3 really good linebackers. So I think that's just kind of what they're doing right now. And to speak to your point about like facing that moment, is I thought it was interesting on Monday. Narduzzi said, a lot of teams, they get to that moment against a MAC team. Like, there is a point, everyone like gets to that point in the road where like, oh man, like the MAC team actually did put together a couple good drives. And then how you respond to it is a big thing. And they did respond to it in a big way. It was 21 unanswered points to close out the game. And like that touchdown, it happened in 3 plays. It was a kick return, 1 bad play, then touchdown. Like, it was just like, they knew they needed to score, and they weren't really messing around. And I think I might have been listening to the Morning Pit on Monday, and you might have said something like, well, I don't like when offenses say they can turn it on. Like, why don't you just always be on? And,
right.
Yeah, you want to see that. But like, I think for the most part on Saturday, they were on. Like, there was just like a couple like weird drives in the third quarter, but for the most part, they were moving the ball up and down the field. So many different players made catches, runs, that kind of thing. Like, they were spreading it around. Eli was doing good things. So I thought they were good. And like, I still walk out of this game like I did with Duquesne. It's like, I don't think they played their best game yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Cade Bell pointed out today, they scored on 7 out of their 10 possessions against Central Michigan. They scored 6 touchdowns on 10 possessions. That's pretty good. It is funny about like Pat Narduzzi came in on Monday. I don't know if you watched the video of when he was talking about all the teams that have like struggled against MAC teams, or how teams have been close. But he had a list. Like, he walked in with a paper and read off the paper of all the time. I was like, wow, you really wanted to make a point about how impressive it was that you guys, were only up by a touchdown and you were able to put it away. He came well prepared for it. And, to the point on the defense, the one thing that stands out to me, Jim, that I think is interesting, looking at their stat sheet, 16 guys have at least an assisted tackle for loss. 16 different players so far this season. 8 different players have at least an assisted sack. Like, a lot of guys are getting into the backfield. A lot of guys are making plays. They have 22 tackles for loss and 9 sacks so far this season. But it's coming from a lot of different people. Like, Kyle Lewis has 3.5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. Those 2 sacks were back-to-back plays against Duquesne, as we know. But like, Zach Crothers has 1.5 sacks. Francis Brew has a sack. Joey Zielinski has 1.5. Cam Lindsey has 1. Isaiah Neal has 1. Jimmy Scott has 0.5. Blaine Spires has 0.5. And like 16 different guys making plays behind the line of scrimmage on tackles for loss. Like, that's impressive. Like, you're getting a group effort that I don't feel, I think they might have ended up with around that number last season by the end of the year, but I don't think through the first 2 games it was that spread out. I think as the season goes on and guys get hurt and you have guys come in and get out and you different players play, you start adding more guys who compile stats. But to have that many different guys making that many plays in the first 2 games, I don't know. Does that feel noteworthy to you like it does to me?
It does, because it kind of goes to the point where they're achieving the stats they're supposed to achieve in this defense. And I think, whenever Pitt's defense is at its best, it's whenever they have so many different options on the defensive line. You look back at like those 2019 teams, it was like, it was a lot of Jones, Weaver, Twyman, but they had other guys making plays too. John Morgan, like Dayon Hayes, like in 2021, like they always have like that 4th or 5th defensive end that can come in and at least give you something. And I think they have that right now. And that's even without their defensive line being at full strength. I think they really expected a lot out of Jaden Moore. I think he was a guy they were counting on to put up a lot of this production. But, his injury has also created an opportunity for a guy like Zach Carruthers, who's kind of looking like a breakout player. So it's just good that, they have so many different options, and they're a defense that's built on rotating. Like they always play a lot of defensive linemen, and you don't want to have that drop off. And right now it doesn't seem like they do.
We got a super chat from Logan. Asked the question: what percentage of the playbook do you believe has been concealed for this game? This is an interesting question, Jim. I mean, like, I'm not smart enough to really know. I don't know. Maybe you are, and so you can chime in if you are. But I think one thing that stands out to me, I was looking at this last year. Desmond Reed, in the 11 games he played, averaged 21.1 offensive touches per game. So far through 2 games, he's averaging 12. Like, if there's anything held back, I think it's Desmond Reed's involvement. And I don't know if they're trying to conceal things. I don't know if they're trying to limit his workload and preserve him as much as possible. But like, he's got to break out and have a huge game this week, doesn't he? I mean, not that he's had bad games the last 2 weeks, but like 288 all-purpose yards. Like, bro, that's not going to get you to 2,000 all-purpose yards, averaging 144 per game. Like, you're not helping me with my prediction here by only getting, 144 all-purpose yards per game. But like, he's got to blow up here, right? Like, doesn't it feel like we have not seen the full power of Desmond Reed yet this season?
I would say so. And I think it's by design. I mean, I don't think you needed to, go too crazy in these first 2 games against, an FCS and a MAC team with your running back who is a little bit undersized. Like, I think everyone knew that going in. You want to limit his touches. And I mean, anytime he does touch the ball, it's still explosive. I mean, he still had 2 big catches the other day. He broke off a run, had another punt return. He was doing all the things he normally does. It's just in a smaller, package, smaller sample size. He's just not getting those touches. So yeah, I mean, I could see that number ballooning to over 20 this week. And I think it could even be said for some of Pitt's other playmakers. Like, I don't think Kenny Johnson's really getting all the touches he probably deserves. Like, you could probably say the same thing with Blue Hicks. He only had 1 catch last week. So, I mean, I think they are not using all their weapons. They are spreading everything out. I don't know if this is a week wherever Justin Holmes or Josh Altsman are going to score touchdowns. Like, I think this is the game you want to put it in Desmond Reed's hands. You want to get Kenny Johnson more targets. And I think, as the competition increases, you're going to lean on your better players, and your better players ideally are going to put up better production. So I think that's kind of part of, where the offense is being held back.
It is interesting how it shifted from Blue Hicks in week 1 to Raphael Williams this past week. Week 1, Blue Hicks catches 4 for 55 and 2 touchdowns. Raphael Williams has 1 for 45. Week 2, Williams has 5 for 81 and 2 touchdowns, and Blue Hicks has 1 for 19. They kind of flip back and forth. I do feel like, and Cade Bell pointed this out, that they have not been running as many plays as they probably would like to. I think they like to run a lot of plays and be on the field a lot. And I don't know if it's because they're hitting explosive plays, or was, Central Michigan, there was just not a lot of time of possession to go around. But I don't think they have as many. I just don't think they've run as many plays as they would like to. I mean, their leading receivers, Raphael Williams and Kenny Johnson and Desmond Reed, have 6 receptions each. It's not a lot. This last game, Central Michigan, Reed had 10 carries. It's like, wow, that wasn't much. They must have given a lot to the other guys. No, Turner and Goff had 6 carries each. You know, they only ran the ball. They had 26 rushing attempts, including Eli Holstein. First game, they only had 27 rushing attempts. For games that were blowouts, I think you would expect to have like 40 rushes. So it's been weird. They haven't really. I wonder, did they lose time of possession against Duquesne as well? I know they lost it against Central Michigan.
Oh yeah, they did.
Did they lose it against Duquesne too?
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably, yeah. Oh, yeah. They lost it by like 11 minutes. Holy cow. But it's just because, I mean, they score quick. I mean, that's just natural. I don't think it matters that they lost time of possession, but my point is that they're just not running as many plays. I think in this game, they'll probably run more plays. And I mean, Desmond Reed's going to be heavily deployed, I think. You know, whether they were just trying to protect him or conceal different ways they're going to get the ball to him. He's going to have, I think he's going to have a huge game. I think he's going to be over 200 yards in this game. Michael Headley wants to know, have the first 2 weeks of the season changed your record prediction? Jim, I think, did we talk ourselves? Where did we finally settle? 8-4 or 9-3?
I think we started the season optimistic, so I think we were at 9-3.
Okay. Any changes?
No, I mean, I think everything that has happened so far is about as expected. I think last week you asked me for a score prediction, and I said 38-10. So it was 28 points.
You called the spread, yeah.
It kind of felt like the game was going to go that way. So I don't know. I don't like. Yeah, it's great they beat a MAC team by 28 points and they blew the doors off of Duquesne. But like, I don't know. That's kind of what I thought they would have done anyway.
Any surprises?
Like about the team in general?
Yeah, in the first 2 games, anything surprise you other than like lack of usage, that kind of stuff? Like for Desmond Reed, or Kenny Johnson doesn't have more than 6 catches or something like that.
Like surprises, I would say like Sean Lee playing a lot is a surprise. Zach Carruthers being really good is a little bit of a surprise. Josh Altsman scoring a touchdown in the first half, like with the starters in the game, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been a couple.
Yeah, well, that was sort of injury related, right? Jake Overman didn't play. Malachi Thomas seemed to be limited in some regards. Like he played like a decent amount. Pat Narduzzi after the game was like, I don't even know, did Malachi even play? Like, he played. Like, you know, it's maybe that's one of the big surprises. 3 different tight ends catching a touchdown, and not Jake Overman yet. So that's did not see that one. I would say, like, I've said this a few times. Like, I think I'm more bullish on the receivers and tight ends than I was coming into the season. I was pretty down on them. I bet if I ranked the 10 position groups on offense and defense, like receiver and tight end might be like 9-10 or maybe 8-10. Like, I mean, I was just really down on that group, but like, I think they've actually like looked pretty good and pretty dangerous. The receivers are getting open. They're making plays after the catch. The tight ends have been useful, right? That was our best praise we could come up with for Jake Overman last year. More useful than expected. I think they've been useful. Like I'm pleasantly surprised by that group, and I still sort of like Desmond Reed. And when we were talking about Reed, you said this about Kenny Johnson. I still don't feel like Kenny Johnson's been fully unleashed. I think there are going to be games where he gets like 9, 10, 11 targets, and they just pepper him with the ball, and he makes big plays and takes over a game and finishes with like 8 catches for 140 yards or something like that. Like I absolutely see that game happening this season. Don't you?
Yeah. And I mean, I just look at for what this offense is trying to accomplish, the way Eli Holstein is approaching this season. I think that trio of receivers is plenty good to do a lot of damage on a lot of teams. Like they might not be any first 2-day NFL, draft picks at some point whenever they get done with their pick careers. But I think for what Pitt is trying to do offensively, like, yeah, they can do a lot of damage on some ACC teams. And I think this offense could be pretty successful. I mean, I think they find the right spots. I mean, like some of those, like that Blue Hicks one-handed catch, like I didn't know that was in the arsenal, but like that's a good thing to have.
Yep.
And like we've seen Kenny Johnson make guys miss in the open field in the return game, and eventually that's going to start happening on offense too. So I mean, I think their weapons are pretty good going into this stretch of 10 games against Power 4 teams.
Josh Newark says, take Pitt -22 for the Brawl. Hoopies lead by halftime in disgust of Rich Rod. I'm not seeing -22 is the line, Jim. I think Josh might be exaggerating a bit there, but I am looking at scores and odds, and they have Pitt -7 at this point. It opened at like 1.5, it says. So I mean, I guess the Jaheim White news, right? Is that worth 5.5 points? Does that move the line 5.5 points to -7? And are you taking Pitt minus a touchdown on the road in this game?
I think I am. I do think Pitt is going to win by 7 to 10 points. I think it will be a close game, but I mean it makes sense why they are the favorite right now. I mean, like, they have more momentum. They look like a better football team. They just didn't lose to a MAC team and only score 10 points. Like, they didn't lose their best player. So a lot of the line maybe isn't so much about how great of a Pitt team is. It's like West Virginia just kind of looks sloppy right now. I mean, it's a new coaching regime. It's a quarterback in his first year as a full year starter. He just lost his best running back. They just lost to a MAC team. Like, there's every reason in the world why the line is what it is. So I don't know if I'd go 22. I don't think I would take that alternate spread, but I could live in that 6.5, 7 range and feel comfortable with it.
Jim, Pitt fans around the world just felt like a cold, like, breeze of death across the back of their necks as you listed all the reasons why Pitt is so obviously going to win this game. Like, they're all shuddering right now. Like, the hair.
No, that was a reason.
No, like, you're talking about like all these reasons. Oh, all these reasons why the line is -7, not why. Okay. Way to talk yourself out of that, because right now they're like, there was one of those like weird found footage horror movies. I forgot what it was called. But they lived in a house with like some kind of poltergeist or demon. And at one point when the tension was high, the demon like blew on like the woman's ear and you just saw her hair move and like everybody freaked out and screamed. That's what all the Pitt fans just felt, is that like a demon just blew in their ear and they're like, "Oh, Jim, stop saying all the things that are good about this." When was the last time Pitt won at West Virginia by more than a touchdown? I'm looking through here just to, see. I'm sure EJ would know off the top of his head. 2001, they won by 6 points. Let's see. Oh, 1991, Jim. They won in Morgantown 34-3. So you're saying the 34 years since they've won in Morgantown by a touchdown or more. You still taking Pitt -7 to break a 34-year streak? How many games would that be? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games that they played in Morgantown that they have not won by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, I mean,
they've won some, but they haven't won by that much.
I'm not dismissing like the rivalry effect of it all. Like, I know the juice in Morgantown is going to be very high on Saturday. Like, I was at the last Brawl. Like, I felt the environment. Like, I know that is a national holiday in the state of West Virginia. Like, when Pitt rolls down I-79, like, that is a big deal. There's a different energy in the crowd. And West Virginia is obviously going to feed off of it. Like, how can't you? Like, it's going to be a moment whenever they take the field and the game starts and all that. But like, I don't know. I mean, like, they lost to a MAC team last week. They just didn't look really good.
I know you keep saying that, Jim, but like, this is the trap. This is how you fall into the hole, Jim. This is,
well,
they've only, since that 1991 game, they've only won in Morgantown 3 times over the last 34 years. Just one. Never mind like by a touchdown or anything. They've only won in Morgantown 3 times since then. The 3 overtime game in 97, the 23-17 game in 2001, and then the 13-9 game. So, this series, since it started again, has not really been a blowout either way. I know they lost by 11 in 2023, but that wasn't a blowout. I mean, the last actual blowout in this series was probably 2010. And before that, there aren't many blowouts until you go back to like Dave Wanstead's first 2 years. They just, I mean, like, games aren't usually decided by more than a touchdown. So if you were betting money on this, you're betting Pitt -7, Jim? You're guaranteeing that Pitt -7 covers?
I'm not guaranteeing, but like, I do have to make a prediction at some point. Our friends from the West Virginia site asked for my insight, so that it's going to be posted on their website tomorrow. So I'm sure they're all going to love me. But yeah, I can get behind it. But like, speaking to the close game or the close nature of this game, the combined score over the past 3 seasons is 82-82.
That's marvelous.
But West
Oh,
Virginia
man.
did manage to sneak out an 11-point win that game 2 years ago. I think it was 17-6. So
Right.
there
Right.
is precedent for a team to forge ahead and win by less than 2 touchdowns, but still double digits. And I think that is what I am saying Pitt can do on Saturday.
Fine. Did you see our friend Pugs keeps track of how Pat Narduzzi keeps track of a lot of things, but one of his spreadsheets is Pat Narduzzi as a road favorite, and it's Narduzzi's like 12-3 overall, 11-4 against the spread. So I think that's what it was, or it was the other way around, 11-4 overall, 12-3. Well, it wouldn't be the other way around. It would be 12-3 overall, 11-4 against the spread. So Pat Narduzzi's pretty good as a road favorite. But this is also the Brawl. And I was thinking about this today, and I'm actually, I talk about it on tomorrow's morning Pitt because I already recorded that. Like every one of these 3 games since the series started again, like a turnover has been a gigantic part of every one of these games. You know, like the MJ Devonshire pick 6 obviously wins the game. I'm counting the blocked punt last year that Brandon George returned for a touchdown. Like, I mean, I know possession had kind of already changed, but I'm counting that as a turnover. And then even that 2023 game, Phil Dracovic threw 3 interceptions, but one of them they returned to the 7-yard line, and then they scored on the next play. It effectively was a pick 6, you know, just with one play in between. So, I mean, turnovers loom large in every game, but like, I guess maybe it's a testament to how close these games have been, but like, sure feels like it's going to hinge on a turnover. That's probably another one of my predictions here is that, you know, in addition to Desmond Reed going off for 200 all-purpose yards, there's going to be a turnover that ultimately determines this game. But I guess if I'm saying that, then I'm sort of predicting a close game, but that is what I expect is a close game. Let me see. There was, what's the over under 57.5. That feels high to me. What's your reaction to that number?
I'm leaning more towards the under in that one. Like, yeah. I could see West Virginia kind of bogging it down, and like I don't think it'll quite go to like 17-6 lengths like it was, you know, 2 years ago where both teams only had 200 yards. But like I West Virginia can't really afford to get in like an up and down game with Pitt. I don't think. Like, and I don't think they have the tools, and I don't think they have the desire to even try to play that way. I don't think they trust their quarterback to lead consecutive scoring drives and that kind of thing. So they want to bog the game down. And if the game's at home and they're going to try to create momentum, I think it's going to try to be with their defense.
Yeah. Pitt, I did research on this because our friend Chris Gates asked about it in the mailbag last week about how often Pitt has scored on the first drive of games under Cade Bell, you know, with the whole like play fast, score faster. How many times do they actually, and in reality, that Central Michigan game, they scored on their first drive. They scored a touchdown on their first drive. It's only the 3rd time since Cade Bell's been at Pitt that they scored a touchdown on their first drive. He's gone like 3 and out 6 times. They punted 9 times and all that. Starting fast obviously is huge here because if you can get ahead, I'm with you. Like, if you can get ahead, you force West Virginia to pass, you force Nico Marchial to drop back. You can probably get pressure on him. He's been pressured on more than 30% of his dropbacks this season. I think there's an opportunity there to force him into some bad decisions, get those turnovers that are going to change things. Just as I was scrolling through looking at the over-under and the spread, how about Oregon is at Northwestern this week? Oregon is minus 27.5, right? Okay, that's crazy. Conference game on the road, but your 4 touchdown favorite. The over-under is 48.5. So Oregon is minus 27.5 with an over-under of 48. Like, they're really not expecting Northwestern to score at all.
No.
Like, they're expecting 0 points, basically. There was, because the first one that caught my eyes, Oklahoma is at Temple. I don't know if they're playing that at a neutral site or if they're actually going to Temple. But Oklahoma's minus 21.5 and the over-under is 51.5. I'm like, holy cow, they're really not expecting Temple to score. And then they saw the Oregon number of 27.5 with an over-under 48.5. I mean, I might take Oregon to cover and the over on that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon won like 53-3 or something, or 53-6. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Oregon dropped 50 on Northwestern on the road. But we're getting sidetracked again. Talking about things. Larry's cousin has a lot of things to say. Sharman is going to drop off an extra load of tissues for Rich Rodriguez because he's going to be crying all night long Saturday. 28-10, Pitt wins and takes over Morgantown. The Panther chat says, Panthers quadrillion, Mountaineers nothing in my Napoleon Dynamite voice. I mean, Panther chat, as if anyone could actually know that. John Jingleheimer Schmidt says, Narduzzi is looking for an opportunity to run it up on them, just hoping he gets it. I think he's looking for an opportunity to run it up on anyone. I don't know if Pat Narduzzi has any particular like West Virginia never like did him dirty, right? Like it's not Virginia Tech, or one of these other teams that like Narduzzi habitually has a problem with. I don't think he's got. Wait, what did he say? Was it the West Virginia game last year where he said they had to beat the referees too?
It might
the
have
West Virginia game. We had to beat everybody on the field today. I think it was last year, wasn't it? I might have to see if I can Google that.
Yeah, that sounds right. So, but no, I don't think West Virginia like has done anything in particular to him. But like, I'm guessing like just like the emotions of the game, like what's being said to you from the stands, like when you're on the sideline, like it probably eventually catches up with you. And yeah, I mean, I think if Pitt has a chance to rub it in West Virginia's nose, like they probably will. Like there's I don't think they're gonna like call off the dogs or anything or protect the sanctity of the rivalry. And that's kind of one of the great things about the Backyard Brawl. And like they talk about it on every broadcast. It's like this rivalry does not have a trophy and it doesn't need one. Like the only victory is just being able to talk shit for a year. And like that's what the Backyard Brawl is.
Exactly. Here, I think I found it. It is from last year. Let me see if I can tell me can you hear this if I play it? Can you hear that?
I hear static. No, I'm not getting anything.
No, this is boring. It's too long. Could you even hear that?
No, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit? Oh, that's terrible. Well, anyway, the quote that they wrote there was some of the calls we got, late hit out of bounds. They catch a ball with hands to the face. I ain't never seen anything like it. We beat West Virginia in the Backyard Brawl, and we beat the officials too. And that was last year. So that was the game. Sorry that I tried to do that. I mean, I wish I had better technology, but what are you gonna do? But that's Narduzzi being Narduzzi. I don't think he has any deep-seated hatred. He's kind of like, did you notice on Monday he was kind of like downplaying the rivalry a little bit? Did you get that impression? Is that just him trying to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Board material.
Yeah, maybe some of that, maybe just like not overhyping the game to his team. Like he did say something like there won't be any like doubt, like they'll be ready. Like we know West Virginia's gonna be ready. We know the rivalry will get them ready, and we won't have a problem with that either. So I don't know. I don't know if he was downplaying it, but like it might just be more in that like coach speak, like every game, this is the next game on the schedule. This is the biggest game because it's the next game. So it might be some of that stuff.
Yeah. Talk is Pitt is trying to help me. He says you have your headphones in, even though your microphone is connected somewhere else. It's still registering. You have to make sure you're not going to be able to transmit sound. No, I mean I was putting the microphone up to the speaker on my computer, which was playing out loud. It's just the speaker wasn't loud enough, and my microphone isn't strong enough. I do have my my headphones in my ear, but I can also unplug it. See, and now Jim will just come through the sound of my computer speakers, which I don't want to have happen. All right. Let's see. Scrolling through here. Adam Vinchik wants to know, Chris, do you think Desmond Reed will get back on track against West Virginia to get to the 2,000 all-purpose yards? So right now he's got 488. Let's do a little math here real quick. 2,000 minus 2,000. Come on. My iPhone updated, and now the calculator is different.
What?
He's 288. So he needs 1,712 all-purpose yards, which means over the next 10 games, he needs to average 171.2. If he plays 11 more games, he would only need to average 155. So, yeah, he could totally get back on track for it. He's just made it a little bit more difficult for himself. But look, he had multiple 200-yard games last year. He had like 254 against Kent State, 234 against Cincinnati. Where he really made his all-purpose yards was in the receiving game, Jim. You know, like he had a couple like 100-yard rushing games, but it was really about the receptions. The receptions are what put him over the top, the receiving yards. And that's what he hasn't really done. He had more, you know, on Saturday than he had against. He only had one catch against Duquesne. I think he had like 5 catches against Central Michigan. So that part is stepping up a little bit, but he's going to be unleashed. I think he will get back on track for 2,000 yards. It's just a little bit tougher now because really he should have feasted in these games. He should have like, you know, 500 all-purpose yards after these 2 games, but I understand why they would slow him down. Just to try and protect him a little bit. Swim Boyd wants to know who's the current hype train player. I don't know, Jim. Is there a hype train guy? I thought it would be Blue Hicks after the first game.
Yeah.
He only had 1 catch in week 2. Is it Josh Altsman? It's Josh Altsman, isn't it?
It might be Josh Altsman.
Is it Josh Altsman?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, let's do Zach Carruthers. I mean, I'm buying in. Like
Zach Carruthers, good call.
Like he's the guy right now. He's going to be good. He might already be good.
I think unconfirmed reports, sources indicate that he's good. Apparently they call him Crow, and so they make crow sounds like ah, ah. And
I
so
kind of like that.
Yeah, if you I think I got it on video. Like he talked after the Central Michigan game. He came out in the press conference, and Eli Holstein was sitting there as he was finishing up. And I think right at the end of the video, you can hear Eli go, ah! And then I think Rasheem Biles talked about it too. He's like, yeah, we call him Crow. We got a sound we make. Ah! So that's,
how'd you transcribe that?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I just let the video. Sometimes you got to let the words in their original voice, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good call. I have a sneaky, well, I mean, Isaiah Neal had a big game against Central Michigan.
He did, yeah.
Some good stats. I don't know if you noticed on your rewatch, he was playing outside. And I think that's probably unique to, playing against that style of defense, but he was playing as a defensive end. Sometimes they had 5 linemen on the field. I don't know if you saw that. They were doing that. But then even sometimes in the 4-man line, he was playing a little bit of defensive end. I'm guessing that's just because Central Michigan packed it in so much. They played a lot of tight formations. You needed as much beef as you could get. But I sort of have a sneaking suspicion that either Neal or Francis Brew, one or both of those guys are going to have some huge games. Now, I mean, Neal just had 2 tackles for loss and a sack against Central Michigan, so you could say he already had sort of a breakout game. But I think those 2 guys, I don't know, Francis Brew might be my low-key, like, hasn't broken out yet hype train guy. But I think, I think he's going to have a couple monster games, maybe on Saturday. I don't know. It depends because they have it's like, I think it's their left guard and their right tackle both giving up 5 pressures each so far this season. So if you can get Brew matched up on that left guard, and maybe the center, maybe you have some opportunities there to get in. But I might pick that. But Crothers is a good call. We would definitely that's a good hype train guy. Larry's cousin says you should do a segment called the first 20 minutes and just live stream the first 20 minutes of the game. You and Big Jimmy, I like that guy. So Larry's cousin likes you, Jim.
Thanks, Larry. Larry's cousin.
Larry's cousin. Yeah. Don't thank Larry. Larry, I don't know if he's
Larry might hate me. I don't know.
Yeah, Larry, the guy's got a real problem. I don't know what his beef is, but you did something to him. I don't think you can actually we couldn't live stream the game. I guess we could live stream our commentary on the game. I just I think it would be boring. Like somebody said it during the post-game show. They're like, oh, you should do a live stream chat during the game. I'm like, guys, the whole thing is going to look like this. Like you guys are going to be watching and I'm going to be like this the whole time, writing notes down. Like it's not going to be, somebody invited me, somebody sent me a DM. They're like, hey, you want to come and watch the game with some of us on Saturday, watch the West Virginia game. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun. But it would be boring. It would be boring to have me there because I'm not going to have fun. I'm not going to drink. I'm not really going to be I'm going to be paying not that fans don't gather and pay close attention to the game, but I'm going to be like, wait, what? And because when I watch a game at home, I've got it on the TV and then I've got it on my laptop. So on the laptop, I can scroll back and be like, wait, when did that player come in, or what did this sub happen, and what was this thing, or what was that? Like, nobody wants to do that at a party. Nobody wants like that the loser sitting over there like staring at his laptop and the TV at the same time. It's just it just wouldn't be fun. And I don't think the live stream during the game would be all that interesting either. Because, I mean, we've sat at how many games together? It's not really that intereswhen
right? Our conversations,
right? Exactly. No. When did Crothers come in? 2 plays ago. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, like that's there's just not a lot. It's far less interesting than people think. Steel Will 51 says, feel like winning at West Virginia for the first time since 2007 would be poetic with Rich Rodriguez being back. Between 2009, 2011, and 2023, which loss bothered you guys the most? I'd rank them worst being 2011, 23, and then 9. 2023 was an awful football game. Like it was one of the worst games in the Narduzzi era, one of the biggest instances of coaching malpractice of the Narduzzi era by sending Phil Dracovic back out there for the second half. The 2009 game, like, details aside, they were in position. I mean, they were a top 12 team at that point, maybe top 10 team after beating Notre Dame. They had locked up, guaranteed that the Cincinnati game would determine who won the Big East and got the BCS bowl bid. And so I don't know if they overlooked West Virginia, but how the hell could you overlook West Virginia? Yeah. Like, how could you? Because they did sort of seem like they sleepwalked through that game, and I don't know how you could do that. And so they still finished the regular season 9-3. They could have been 10-2. And it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the Cincinnati game. It wouldn't have changed, the stakes of the Cincinnati game. Maybe they would have gotten a slightly better bowl than the Charlotte Bowl, but like, that was a pretty bad loss. The Todd Graham, I mean, like, who can remember anything about Todd Graham's years? I mean, like, I don't remember what happened in that game down there. Do you have any memory of the 2011 West Virginia game?
I know they lost. It was like 21-20. I think Tino Sinceri had a bad game, maybe. And that was that the last one before
down there?
Last one, like then the whole series went on
until 23. Yep.
Okay, so maybe that one just kind of stung just because it was like they kind of got the last laugh. It was like Pitt winning the 12-0 Penn State game. It was like, we got that. We have this one for a decade. Normally it's only a year. So 2009 is the worst one. Like they had a chance to have a 10-win season and kind of blew it there.
Yeah. I'm looking, Pitt had a 14-point. Pitt was up 14-0 in the first half and then didn't score another touchdown after that. They just kicked a couple field goals, and West Virginia scored touchdowns in the second, third, and fourth quarter to win 21-20. Tino Sinceri was 12 of 23. Sounds about right. 12 of 23 for 137 and a touchdown, or 137 and an interception. Isaac Bennett and Zach Brown each rushed for a touchdown. Remember when Zach Brown played at Pitt for a year? Transferred from Wisconsin?
Yeah, he wasn't bad either.
No. Geno Smith threw for 244 and a touchdown. Sean Alston rushed for 2 touchdowns. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot going on there. Not a lot happening in Morgantown. Oh, Tavon Austin had 10 for 102. So that's pretty impressive, but he was awesome. So it's not too big of a surprise. Man, reading through some of these names, I tell you, that's a trip down memory lane. But yeah. Swim Boyd says, I think it's time for a new run stat where you do the average yard per carry for runs under 10 to 15 yards. So I've been going back and forth, Jim, about how to evaluate like an effective run game, right? Because Pitt right now on the season is averaging 5.3 yards per carry. That sounds really good, doesn't it?
It does.
Does it feel like their run game has been really good?
No. I mean, and it's kind of been a talking point lately. It's just like they're going to bust some big ones. That's going to keep the average respectable. But I don't know. I mean, like, they might just be a team that's rushing for 130, 140 yards a game, and that's just kind of who they are. And, like, some games it might be really good. Some games it might be non-existent. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're really establishing the run that well this year. But again, I think part of that is they are not giving the ball to the running back. That's really good a lot. So maybe that kind of bogs the numbers down. Maybe with more chances, Desmond Reed, helps the rushing average, helps the rushing game. But I don't know. I mean, I have a feeling like this might be what it looks like all year.
I would buy that idea, but they're averaging 141 per game right now, and that's Duquesne and Central Michigan. So do we think they sustain at that pace? Which would indicate that maybe it's a willful decision to run like they've been running, or does it fall off because that's all they could manage against Duquesne and Central Michigan, and as the level of competition steps up, their production will drop. You know what I mean?
I mean, I could see both sides of it. I mean, but I think giving Desmond Reed more carries gives him more chances to bust big runs and help your numbers. So I think that's going to be part of it. Like, I think if he starts getting his normal dosage of, touching the ball, and obviously that comes in the pass game too, but he's going to start getting more carries too. And like, that's just more chances with the ball in his hands to do something. And that's usually when good things happen for Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hammering these stats all week. The running backs have 40 rushing attempts for 199 yards. It's right around like 5 yards per carry, but only 20 of those 40 rushing attempts have gained 4 yards or more. And so I always kind of say like 4 yards or more is like that's a win. That's a successful run. If you're only getting wins on 50% of your running back rushes, I don't feel like you're doing a very good job, right? Like at consistently, effectively running the ball down to down, snap to snap. You agree with that?
Yeah, I would.
Yep. Let me see. There was something I wanted to go. I'll just scroll through here. Let's see. Panther Chat says one of my favorite streams of all time is when you had Jerry, Noah, Chris, and Jim all on. If we have a great season, maybe at the end of the year we could do that again. Yeah, I like when we had the guests stop by every now and then. Those were fun. Mark Shilaju says when LaShawn McCoy eventually gets into the Hall of Fame, do you think Pitt will retire number 25 in honor of him and Darrell Revis? Maybe it's just me, but it seemed weird seeing a running back carrying the ball wearing 25. Retirement conversations we've had a few times. I don't think you retire number 25. I don't know about you, Jim. I mean, LaShawn McCoy was great, but like, was he better than Ironhead, Craig Hayward? Was he better than James Conner? Was he better than, there've been a lot of really good and great running backs who have come through Pitt, and maybe LaShawn McCoy is the best one, but I don't think, I've often said, I don't think there are any more numbers that need to be retired other than 97. I think that's the last one they need to retire for a long time.
I would agree with that. Like, LaShawn McCoy went on to have a great NFL career. He was good at Pitt. He had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but like, it was 2 seasons. There's been other running backs that have had 2 really good seasons too, had 2 1,000-yard seasons. James Conner, like you mentioned, one of them. So I don't know. Like, you need to retire the numbers based on Pitt merits. And like, yeah, LaShawn McCoy was really good at Pitt, but was he like generational? Was he Larry Fitzgerald? Was he Aaron Donald? I would say no.
Yep. Let me see. Will Z says, I think Pitt should win on paper. I think for West Virginia to have a chance, Eli just has to be super off, turnover prone, and off on his throws. Also, the secondary doesn't inspire confidence with no battle or line him. Yeah, I mean, like, turnovers, I think, are ultimately what can turn this game for West Virginia. If Eli Holstein makes a few mistakes, if you fumble a punt or something like that, that's how you give this game away. On paper, Pitt seems like the better team, and the better team loses when they make those kind of mistakes and turn it over. All right, last one. There was something I wanted to get to. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Paul Sebastian says, do you think Desmond Reed would benefit from having a fullback? I feel that he would get more yards up the middle if a fullback could take on the first line of defense. From my memory, LaShawn McCoy really benefited from Henry Hynoski. I mean, those are 2 very different offenses, Paul. That's the one thing, is that was, Matt Kavanaugh's I formation, pro set, power, running scheme. This is an offense that relies on spreading teams out. And I think Cade Bell would tell you, well, if I put a fullback in the backfield, that's just going to bring more defenders into the box. Like, we want to spread them out and try to, create the running lanes that way. The fullback just isn't part of this. Now, they did use the tight ends as sort of H-backs kind of lined up offset in the backfield a number of times against Central Michigan. I just don't remember seeing that very much last year. Do you, Jim?
Not so much. I mean, I think sometimes Gavin would do it, and there's a couple. I think even on they had other guys on Saturday line up in the backfield initially. Like I think Raphael Williams on his touchdown near the first touchdown, he started in the backfield winning the motion, then caught the touchdown. So they were kind of doing some different things with that. So I think they can do that with wide receivers and tight ends. And obviously with this conversation, it's tight ends looking to block, but I don't know. I'm with you. I think this offense is at its best whenever all five skill position guys are a threat to make a play. And I think just by having a fullback kind of negates that idea.
According to Pro Football Focus, Josh Altman took 5 snaps against Duquesne and 2 against Central Michigan in the backfield. Let me just look at the other. Let me just see the other tight ends just for a real quick comparison. No, not Max Hunt. Justin Holmes, who played a ton against Central Michigan. He was in the backfield for 7 snaps and 4 snaps against Duquesne. So 11 of his snaps this season. So I mean, like they're back there, but it's just not. It's not a feature of the offense. It's just not how they want to run it. All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. It was a lot of fun as always. Make sure you like this video and subscribe. YouTube.com/Panther-Lair.com. Believe me, if you enjoy the Wednesday night live show, the post-game shows are even more fun because there's alcohol. So we get a little bit looser and have a little bit more fun. It's not the middle of the week. It's a Saturday night, so we can enjoy ourselves. But thanks for tuning in tonight. Jim, thanks for your time as always. Appreciate all the comments and questions. Like and subscribe, and we will catch up with you tomorrow for the Morning Pit. And then don't forget, Saturday post-game show after the Backyard Brawl. Enjoy the brawl, everybody, and we will talk to you whenever I just said we will talk to you tomorrow for the Morning Pit and then after the game on Saturday. Have a good week.